But a bomb start could be interesting, too.
Yeah, bombs could be interesting. I do like to see bombs. I've been becoming a fan of, say, the fire rod.
Well,
There's some early bombs.
So basically, in standard mode, our runners are going to all be going through the same about 6 first minutes of the game, rescuing Zelda, heading to the sanctuary, picking up the items along the way. So we're not going to see divergence for the first 6 minutes, but then it'll open up once we get to the sink.
Absolutely, and 6 minutes is kind of what they want to see. And fire rod.
There we go.
I really like the fire rod because it just absolutely melts enemies, but because you're given such a limited number of shots to start off with, you really can limit how much bomb farming you can do. With those opening bombs, though, we're set. So we can just kind of fly through here as quickly as we possibly can.
Yeah, with pots and the fire rod, it's going to be a really, really fast start. And like you say, those bombs are going to give our runners access to a pack of 3 items in the back of Escape. That's a really popular spot to orphan if you don't get bombs going through it. And it can hurt you if you don't go back for them. But we're not going to see that in this scene.
All right, we're getting everyone slowly working their way through here, but you're absolutely right. Okay, there's a small key. That is the first of 2 dungeon items as we are going to be going through here. We have the small key that is required to get as you're going through here, and also the map. So if we don't happen to find the map in its entirety as we're going through here, remember that one chest in the sanctuary is technically part of the escape sequence. So if we don't find the map, we can save, a handful of seconds just avoiding that. A lot of runners just almost muscle memory opening it up. We'll see if that comes into play later. No, too easy. Guys, we gotta reset. This is too easy.
A sword in Escape. Goodness gracious.
So we have a sword, a fire rod already. We were given bombs just right off the bat. This is a little too easy for my taste right now. I don't know about everyone else.
And more bombs. That's going to make our Kakariko check really efficient.
Absolutely. Now, we are running version 30, of course. And that took out all of the bomb capacity upgrades and the arrow capacity upgrades, put them back in that waterfall of capacity there in the Light World version of the Ice Palace. That does mean that there are more bombs that were available back in version 29s in the earlier version. So if it's been a while since you've seen a rando, oftentimes you can count on some bombs somewhere in the escape simply because of all those capacity upgrades being removed.
Yep. I don't exactly know why the capacity upgrades were removed as of version 30, but it does render the chests that little bit more valuable because you're going to find something that you can immediately use rather than the capacity upgrade you may never use.
Everyone's in chat is doing what chat does best, wishing pain and misery upon these runners, and you know what? I am all about that, because if there's one thing I've learned, if you are watching a horrible seed that is making runners run all the way around, that means you're not playing it, and that's just always good.
It's always good. In fact, I saw a seed just the other day where boots were not required until they suddenly were, because the G big key is right where you expect it would be.
Those are my favorites. All right, well, there is that map, so we are going to have to go ahead and open up the rest of the treasure chests in here, which is worth noting. And of course, the boss of the entire escape sequence, the key rat.
Not much of a boss when you have a sword, fire rod, and bombs.
I mean, it puts up more of a challenge than stay blind. Oh, a mirror!
Oh.
Bottle! What?
This seed is just handing our runners everything.
We can thank Math Girl for rolling this seed. Math Girl, if I ever enter another tournament, I need you to roll all of my seeds, please. Thank you.
You say that, but the worm will turn.
Everyone getting through right about at the 6-minute mark. Man, this sinks so far. And a second bottle. Boo.
Tara making a wonderful point in chat, though. Front-loaded seeds mean it's going to turn into a nightmare later on, and if you caught that map check from Hitsu, it's a full Crystal Light world.
So we saw something interesting from Matt the Ogre there. He mirrored and realized, oh, his last time that he went into the overworld was way back at the when he first entered the castle. So when he mirrored out of the sanctuary, it took him all the way back to the castle. So he had to reset there. And tree pull, I think that's the tier 3 tree pull, were full magic pots. That's actually super nice.
And the hammer! Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, we are very, very close already to our access to most of Death Mountain, especially East Death Mountain. All we're waiting for is that access, of course, either a flute or lift and lamp. But yeah, the mirror and the hammer are definitely two very, very key pieces at this point in time. With that bottle, we'll be able to check Sick Kid as well. This is just shaping up to be fantastic.
Yeah, our runners are not going to want for damage output.
$10 arrows, $50, $100, and another piece of heart. So we certainly have our money that we need to get through here, as well as buy the bottle merchant item from here.
And there's lamp.
So much value early. So much value early.
I thought version 30 took some of the stacking out of Kakariko.
I mean, I'm sure there's some possibilities to reduce the likelihood, but rando's gonna rando. It doesn't matter what version it is.
Got that right.
All right, so we do have a shovel to start off with. There's another arrow set there. And we're given more rupees, more bombs, and another piece of heart.
Okay, I take it back. It's not so stacked.
I mean, if you're looking at the entirety of the loadout... Oh, and Sank Heart there from the bottle merchant.
Yep, that Sanctuary Heart is the only heart container in the game that will refill your hearts when you pick it up.
Flippers!
Wow!
Wham! Yeah, this is getting silly here, but to their point, I mean, they're absolutely right. When we have this much access early on in this Sphere 0 location, or Sphere 1 locations, it really opens things up, and we have no idea where to go. We're going to see a lot of route divergence very, very quickly.
Absolutely. Eastern Palace jumps to mind as a good dip. You can't do anything, you can't beat it though because you don't have the bow, but you can go in there and with the lamp, you can get all the way to the back.
You know, that might be an interesting early dip. but I might even avoid it to start off with, because I'm thinking as soon as I get the lamp, I have access to all, or as soon as I get a lift upgrade, I have access to all of Death Mountain. So I'm trying to prioritize this. I might hit some of those standard other overworld locations, the dam, mini Moldorm, and even with the flippers, you can loop in Hobo and the waterfall ferry and hope you get a lift upgrade there. And then if you do, go right up the mountain.
Oh, absolutely. At least you'll have South Shore to get through. But with the shovel in the well, they're going to loop in this check here, and it's going to reward them with $300.
That's an awesome check right there, because between all the other money that we already have, I mean, that just loops in Zora, along with those other checks that you're getting ready to make, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, Death Mountain is certainly looking attractive. We're just either a lift upgrade or a flute away from being able to do those right now. Still no access officially that, yeah. Chloe actually showing off one of the minor glitches that's allowing you to, whenever you're in a not dungeon, you can push a block, and if you're spamming the mirror, it will make the block disappear. So a little bit more efficient there from Chloe, as opposed to Hitsuyan, who does things kind of the old-fashioned way.
And if you're wondering how using the mirror in an overworld cave causes blocks to despawn, that's an excellent question.
Nod and smile and just be happy that it does.
Let me know if you ever find the answer.
Technically, it does work when you're in dungeons, but also using the mirror warps you back to the beginning and resets everything, so it works, but it doesn't.
Yep.
Bugnet, single arrow, 50 rupees. Not a whole lot in Mini Moldorm, although those 50 rupees do put us over our Zora threshold.
Yep, so it's actually a more valuable $70 than you might think.
Absolutely. Matt having a little bit of trouble with these Mini Moldorms here. Chloe looks like is going right over to Ice Rod Cave. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan is actually might also be doing Ice Rod Cave, but is just taking the
looks like it. Yep,
swimming route.
take a slightly longer route.
Now we have some Bugnet fans. I'm sorry, I insulted the mighty Bugnet a little bit here. Sorry, guys. I beg your forgiveness.
Praise Bugnet. Firebird making what could possibly be a very good point. Agana is still not checked, which is a very popular 3-0 location to Orphan, and I've seen it bite runners before.
Oh, there's our another sword there.
Which we've already got the mirror for it. We got the mirror and flippers for it. We just need Dark World access.
I saw Kirby get the hobo item that all three other runners are doing. I just missed it. So,
was it arrows? No, it was $20.
Just monies, and it looks like Matt is actually going to be going over here and checking out the Ice Rod Cave directly, while the others are swimming away from Hobo. We'll see if they do that Zora check or if they go elsewhere.
The Zora check is a very good idea because you've got 4 items up there you can get. Like, there's no reason not to go Zora right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. Although, you know, you do have the Eastern Palace area as well, if you really wanted to. Chloe, first one there, followed almost immediately by Hitsu.
Chloe grabbing a potion out of the waterfall cave. Or a fairy. We don't know what it is. And it's a bee.
I mean, bee torps are always popular, and they have some kind of niche purposes, but I don't know if I would have spent the time there for just a bee. If you knew about it, but it's always worth it.
Yep. I mean, if they gives you a fairy, you're just ahead of the power curve.
Another $50. This seed is just throwing money at these guys. So much money. There was another 300 even in that Waterfall of Wishing. So we got Zora left, and then it's down to Agina or into the eastern area.
Yep, Zora's probably not going to have anything important. They're checking it this early, and the seed just shoved them this way.
Excuse me? What?
Or I could be stupid. I'm an idiot. I'm just gonna... Bye, it was fun commenting, y'all.
Oh, and we have duck attack right now. We have our flight patterns. We will be able to get up to Death Mountain now and be able to clear out quite a bit of Death Mountain even without the lift upgrade. That's just an amazing spot right there. Reading this seed, I think all of these runners have really just been reading it and saying, yeah, I'm just going to keep following it because flippers, all this money that I've been given, yeah, it makes sense to go with there.
Yeah, the seed really did shove them at Zora. But on the balance, Zora is almost always not worth it, so it's kind of rare. But with that flute in hand, Death Mountain and Tower of Hera are now open.
Absolutely. So we're going to be fluting off. Yeah, Death Mountain, Tower of Hera. We have 8 spots on East Death Mountain, plus the Old Man, plus... I mean, I'm just losing count of how many items. So that's 10 plus 2 in Tower of Hera, which is a crystal.
Yeah, so you're going up there anyway, and you've got everything you need to just blow through Tower of Hera. You're not even thinking about it. You got fire sources, you got the hammer, you got everything you want. Absolutely. And you got a lift upgrade.
Swole Old Man. He lifts, man.
Or he did, before he gave you the glove.
Well, we're still missing that all-important Moon Pearl, of course. So we have to take that in consideration. Just a single rupee and 50 rupees. Chloe checked. Hitsuyan is not bothering to check, is going right down there for the hint tiles. Remember, all the telepathy tiles from the original game have been converted to the hint tiles in version 30, be able to give us a slight hint about what's going on.
And the first hint of the map is Silver Arrows in West Wing of Swamp. Wow, that hint.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing. Chloe didn't get that hint. Chloe is a seasoned runner. I can imagine. I mean, left side Swamp Palace.
Moon Pearl.
Unless you have to go there.
French Vanilla Moon Pearl.
I mean, that's nice.
We got red crystals in Thieves' Town, Ice Palace, green pendant, Turtle Rock. Blue crystals were in Swamp and Skull Woods, and red pendant was in Swamp. Blue crystal in Mr. Mire and Desert Palace. Blue pendant Skull Woods. I misread that. Trying to read that really quick before Kitsuyan dismissed it.
So we did get to see the hint that said above the pose is a unique item, and that does reference the graveyard ledge. Most importantly, I think we've already found the single arrow, so that unique item isn't the single arrow, which makes it added value.
Yeah, that's never fun when you find a unique item and it is the single arrow, because that is a unique item as far as the randomizer logic is concerned. But let's see what the big chest is hiding this time. Just a useless key.
Well, can't call it a useless key per se.
Oh, true.
Here's the deal. It depends on what Moldorm drops. We're still missing one item plus the map. So if Moldorm ends up hiding the map, we're going to have to go down there and spend a lot of time in that basement, unless you want to gamble.
So let's see what Moldorm's got. Hitsuyan setting up for a bomb jump across the gap. Got to be within 2 pixels of that of when you're gonna fall off in order to make this work, and he made it work. And while I was talking, Chloe just murdered Moldorm.
And it's a map. We're going. Well, we might go to the basement. Oh, and Hitsuyan takes a death from a mini Moldorm. Unfortunately, that's going to bring him all the way back. We'll see.
You were saying about Chloe being a seasoned runner. He might decide to skip the item in the basement. We will see. Nope, he's going back for it.
I don't know. There's been so much value in this first 20 minutes. I don't know if I would skip anything that I have immediate access to right now.
Fair point.
All right, and Chloe gets the coffee break. Everyone go refill your beverages if you need to.
The game doesn't like it when you are standing on top of upraised blocks because you're not supposed to be able to. So the game will just give you invulnerability until you step off of it.
You know, if the game really doesn't like you being on the blocks, I don't know why it gives you invulnerability. That does nothing but encourage bad behavior.
I mean, nobody said this game was perfect. Oh, hi.
Hello, Ice Rod. And Turtle Rock is a green pendant, you said? Oh my. That would be the only reason we need that Ice Rod. I think Chloe is happy he got that. At the same time, is really, really hoping doesn't need.
Yeah, it's always the way when Turtle Rock is a green pendant and you don't know if you need it. The Ice Rod just falls in your lap, and then when you oh, there's the Book of Medora, by the way. That might be a thing.
Hitsuyan left?
He's gone for the book, but I don't know why he left Tower of Hera. You're right. It's a very interesting play.
I mean, he got the Moon Pearl, so I mean, he's going to eventually have to come back to get that crystal. But don't know why you would. That's a little bit odd.
I question the play, personally. But we'll see. I mean, he will be coming back up here eventually, maybe, possibly. I hope.
All right, so setting up the rest of these checks over here on East Death Mountain. Man, if we end up finding the Titansmith, we'll be able to go right over and check Death Mountain, at least the Super Bunny Cave.
Blue mail is always welcome. Oh, we did clear Tower Hero. We must have just missed it. I'm sorry. Saw the crystal on the on his menu screen there. Whoops! He just slipped past us.
So much health in this particular room. 4 and some arrows. Cupid Cave. Hearts and arrows.
Oh, he just didn't go to the basement, I'm being told. Wait, no, he did go to the basement. He's on the ice rod. Does he have the ice rod? Hold on. I need to... Okay, no, he doesn't. Okay. Okay. We're back on track.
Alright, so we see Chloe immediately going over and is going to be checking Hype Cave. Get your guesses in, chat. Is it going to actually be hype? Or is it going to be a dud?
Hitzion, meanwhile, is going into the Dark World, it looks like, using the North Wasp Woods entrance.
Yeah, different runners have different route preferences for this. And see, more hearts, more bombs, more arrows, more rupee.
Oh, that's Gripe Cave.
Yeah, that's pretty lame, guys. That might be a 1 of 10.
Would not recommend.
The only thing that would have made it worse is if, like, the single arrow or a green rupee would have been in there. I mean, it was pretty bad, but it takes effort to get a 0 out of 10 in my book.
Chloe jumping immediately for that Master Sword. Can't blame him.
No, that's a pretty significant damage upgrade from the Fighter Sword, so worth getting in there. And looks to be heading right over to Palace of Darkness already.
It's an interesting play. Gonna bulwark himself pretty quick if the key's not there.
Oh, not even going there. So it looks like maybe going over to the pyramid.
Or Catfish, maybe. Nope, pyramid.
Either way, Hitzion, meanwhile, is doing Thieves Town presently.
Got everything he needs to go through it. So, it's a good play.
Yeah, not a ton is necessarily required. Plus, it is one of this 5/6.
Ooh,
so
Signal
always
taking a nice death. While Chloe picks up the mushroom.
I am always supportive of fetch quests. And might as well route it up over here so you can turn in the mushroom and do catfish at the same time.
Yep, efficiency is always welcome.
Meanwhile, Matt is in Skull Woods. And Hitzian in Thieves Town. Man, we talked about early route divergence. We absolutely got it, didn't we?
Yep. The items that our runners have kind of put them all over the place.
Ooh. Bombos. Not necessarily something we want to see this early. We don't know our access into Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, so that might be something early that Chloe... If Bombos is required to get into either of those, and we need to get into them, we'll certainly have a leg up, but we don't know yet.
No, we don't. And we won't know until we find that second lift upgrade. Hitzion forsaking the hint. And let's see what everyone's favorite angry fish has for us today. He coughs up just a piece of his heart.
So we see Matt the Ogre actually working his way back here to the Graveyard Ledge Cave. We were told it has a unique item, so stay tuned for Matt the Ogre screen. We might see something interesting here to.
Oh, Hitzion went back for the hint. Let's see what it is. It lied to us and said beans on toast is a great meal, and that's absolutely not the case.
Yeah, it is absolutely lying to us, dirty liar. And it's magic powder.
That could be a thing.
That does give us access to the magic bat and one of the best survivability items in the game, in my humble opinion.
Which item is that?
No, I mean the powder. One of the best survivability items in the game.
The powder is a survivability item?
Well, yeah, turning anti-fairies into fairies, especially in the later parts of the game, is just amazing.
That's a good point. Until you get the expert difficulty, and then it turns into a heart, and then you lie on the floor and cry.
Signum's checking this hint. I bet you expected help, didn't you? Yes. Yes, we did.
Jerk tile.
This is interesting. Signum's is actually making an early dive into Swamp Palace. This is really interesting. Definitely not something you see every day, especially when you don't necessarily have the hook shot. Plus, it's a pendant. If anything, I believe Signum's also got that hint for the silvers and probably thought, yeah, I'm going to be going in here anyway. At least let me get as many of the items as I can right now.
Yeah, in fact, that might be the only reason Sigma is diving Swamp Palace, is to get the silver arrows in and dip.
Meanwhile, Hitzian does take out Blind, is rewarded with a map. Gets one of the 5-6 crystals, but otherwise, Thieves Town was pretty empty, unfortunately.
Michael K. With the evil plan of bow on laser bridge to go mode, which would just be horrible.
Why do you hate people, Michael K? I mean, that is some antisocial behavior right there. I'm worried about you. Seek help.
Exactly what I was going to say. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the DSM for antisocial. Signum's not doing what I thought he was going to do and dipping out early. We'll see what his plan is. I would have dipped out... Or maybe he hasn't gotten the silver arrows yet and I'm just an idiot.
Well, silver arrows are on left side swamp, so hasn't gotten them yet.
Yep, there they are.
Meanwhile, all of the runners seem to have extra prioritized this graveyard ledge. 3 out of 4 of them have gotten the magic powder up to this point in time without having access to either Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb. So you know they saw that unique item hint and said, yep, I'm heading there, through all of this mess of a maze, and didn't help really much at all. Meanwhile, we have 2 runners that are now in Thieves Town, respectively. Hitsuyan is now turning in other items, does not have the mushroom, so going up to the catfish. Man, we'll be disappointed when takes kind of the backwards route and finds mushroom almost immediately.
Yeah, won't be great.
All right, and Signum's now tried to cherry pick items. Nope, you have to go and do it again to get your. Right, so Chloe and Matt slowly working their way here through Thieves Town, getting beans on toast, which is, no matter what the hint tile says, is not an acceptable breakfast.
Or any meal, really. Alright, so Signum's deciding he's done with Swamp Palace, leaves to go to parts unknown.
Yep. Hitsuyan now backtracking, going to be checking out this horrible, horrible hype cave.
And Signum's gonna get his Master Sword here.
I mean, I really like the Master Sword pickup once you know where it's at. It's just, where do you go from here? The main things that are really blocking us at this point in time, we can't finish Swamp Palace without Hookshot. And really, we're kind of hoping not to get the Hookshot until later. Can't do Bow. I mean, we haven't even touched Eastern or Agate or Sahasrara's Closet, really. We don't have the Titan's Mitts either. Titan's Mitts would open up the most of the world that's left right at the moment.
Yeah, and I don't... Pod's really the only... no, they could do Skull. They could go back and do Skull if they really wanted to.
Yeah, but who really wants to fight Mothula? I mean, really. Also, how rude of a seed is it where the only time you actually need Fire Rod are for Turtle Rock and Skullwoods, and they're both pendants. And that was our first item.
I mean, it's pretty nasty. The only way this could be even worse is if the game puts, like, Bow on pedestal just to be a jerk.
It can happen.
It can happen.
Oh, there's another sword. And the best cane. The Cane of Burna.
Hey, there we go. It's not Phantom Ryu's favorite, but it'll do.
Oh, that cane and I have a long and storied history together. I'm proud to call it my favorite. Just a blue rupee from the digging game that both Matt and Signums end up finding. So Hitsuyan is going to Pod first, it appears.
I don't think he has a potion, so we'd better hope he finds a small key in the first chest. Is it going to be a real quick trip? Ah, okay. He does have a green. Okay. And he found a key anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Whew.
Due to the way keys are laid out in Palace of Darkness, if you don't find a small key in that first chest, you are forced to go through a room that has mimics in it, and you have to have the bow to kill the mimics, unless you have to have a bow to logically get through that room, unless you do a potion glitch to get through it, but that's not logic, so you want to find a small key.
And Chloe is going to be the first one checking out this magic bat that's going to be over here, while Hitsuyan is checking out some more of this Palace of Darkness. Matt is doing Hype Cave, and Signums is over here checking out some other things.
Hey! There's that lift upgrade we were talking about.
So, yeah.
Oh, but that's kind of mean, though, because now you can go get the bullfrog and have to take him right back here, which is just rude.
And the hint in Pod is the hammer's in the Lost Woods. Thanks, game. So here's the problem with that Titan's Mitts. Because that opens up the rest of the world, effectively, I mean, things are really wide open now. We can start talking about Misery Mire. We can start talking about Ice Palace. We can even start talking about getting into Turtle Rock as soon as we have the cane, and we have a lot open to us to be able to find that cane. So I don't know if I'd be necessarily happy to find that Titansmith so early.
Probably not. Just basically because of what you said, that it opens the entire world, and because of the fact that we got so many items at the start of the seed, it kind of means we're starved for items here.
We do have one medallion, Mushroom, which led to Bombos. So, I mean, that's still our only medallion, and it very well could be the only one that we're going to see. We don't know yet. But how about this? With Ice Palace now opened up to us logically, that's the other 5/6 crystal. We might have some Pyramid Fairy shenanigans as well.
That could definitely happen. The 5/6 crystals, the red ones on the map, once you clear those, the bomb shop in where Link's house would be has a big red bomb for you, and you can buy it and go blow a hole in the pyramid, and you find 2 items. And they could be important.
All right, so Bloomerang from Jeremiah. There's the red mail there down there for Hitsuyan in Palace of Dark. Meanwhile, Signums is dipping. Looks like going to go farther into Skull Woods. Might even be taking on Mothula here.
I mean, it's an interesting play. It's a pennant, and nope, deciding to leave.
Yeah, so all of the fetch quests have led to something reasonable. The mushroom led to Bombos. The powder led to Titansmiths, which of course is required. And then the shovel led to 300 rupees, which looked like we needed it at the time in order to get to Zora, have the Zora money, which was the flute. So really, this is the first time in a long time I can remember where all fetch quests had at least something reasonable.
Yeah, something definitely worth the, well, in the case of the shovel, quasi worth the time of the price of admission.
I mean, we didn't know that there was going to be another 300 in Waterfall Cave. So.
Does Jeremiah count as a fetch quest?
I mean, you're not fetching so much as escorting.
So it's an escort quest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the first escort quests.
But Chloe gonna give us his first look at the medallion here, and the requirement is Bombo, so he's got it.
Yeah, but no boots, no hookshot, no reason to go in there because we can't get past the front gate.
Nope, but at least we have the knowledge.
Knowledge is power. Or prower in this case.
Ah. Chloe gonna dip in the desert though. I like this play. At least until like big key on torch, and then we just cry. Hey! Oh
Boots
my!
are going to be required. Oh, but it said a unique item is in Eastern Palace. Hitsuyan's in Eastern right now.
So let's find out what that item is.
It's like gotta be on the boss.
It's okay. It's who knows?
Unique item is on arm, so we gotta wait for the bow. Oh my goodness.
Well, logically at least, doesn't the Armos Knights take damage from the boomerang?
I mean, they take damage from a lot of different things, but they have the red Igors that can only be damaged by the bow in the meantime.
Yeah, it's like the final gatekeeper.
Signum's now in Thieves Town. Chloe still working way through desert, doesn't necessarily find anything. Hitsuyan now with the Titansmiths. You know what? Things are looking like Ice Palace are going to be the way to go.
Yeah, because we are locked out of. We're locked out of Turtle Rock until we get the boots, and we can't complete Misermire until we get the boots because we need the cane for both those dungeons.
Or the hook shot. That would probably be the meanest thing ever. Is if we got the hook shot and the boots were somewhere in Misermire itself. That would be.
That'd be amazing. Hookshot on Ped to boots in Mire? Could that be a thing? No, it couldn't.
Yeah, because we need hookshot for Salt Palace.
Because you need hookshot for... Yeah. Okay, so... But boots could be on Ped.
Boots can absolutely be on Ped.
Or boots could be in Agina's cave, which is where Chloe is probably going to go right after this.
I mean, that would be a little bit mean. But hilarious. Good mean.
But mostly hilarious.
Boots required for Kane, which is required for TR, so boots can't be on Ped. Right? Chat?
Oh, yeah.
Us.
Okay, so... Bow on Ped is probably... Well, either bow or... possibly medallion. Well, actually, no. The only medallion that matters for the Ped index we have. So, never mind that.
So BB Bulldozer in chat asks, book could be on Ped, but how would you ever know? We know where the book is, but just for your knowledge, if the book is ever on the Ped, it will tell you when you read it afterwards, this is a paradox.
I did not know that, but it makes sense.
All right, Agina's Cave. What do you have for us? Has this Sphere 1 continue to be loaded? No. Okay.
Nope. Sorry. Whoops.
Yeah, Ped is not dead. Ped is on life support. to the best of our knowledge. Right now, about the only thing that can be on the pedestal is the bow. Although, if the unique item that is on... If the unique item that is on the Armos Knights, and we know there's a unique item on the Armos Knights, if that ends up being the boots, then it's absolutely dead. So Chloe now coming over here. Oh no, probably setting up to go over here to Eastern Palace, not realizing that what we know, I mean, Hitsuyan and everyone else has kind of given us the picture of what we already need to know. So yeah, Ice Palace is... It feels like everything's bottlenecking around Ice Palace. We're all doing all the checks of everything that we can get to except Ice Palace. It'll be real interesting to see who heads there first. We haven't seen Spike Cave, you're right. Spike Cave is in Logic because of the Keen of Brian, so that is technically a possibility.
We haven't seen Super Bunny. That's right.
True. Okay, here's Signum's finally going back, getting the powder, which we know leads to the Titan's Mitts at this point in time. Although, not really hurt a whole lot by not having the Titan's Mitts at this point in time.
Yeah, just because everyone else has kind of been running around like chickens, so he's not too far behind everybody.
Keep in mind, these are just our 4 featured runners as well. We had, I believe the final count was 30 total competitors in this daily race. So if someone does end up happening to finish at some point in time, we'll be sure to go ahead and call this out as well, at least the top few vote getters. Matt the Ogre getting some magic. I wonder, are you, Matt? Are you going to where you need to go? No, he's not. No. Hitsuyan, meanwhile, looks like is doing the Jeremiah loop, doing the dig game, and then going to go back and grab Jeremiah.
And another redundant hit. Thanks, game. We had no idea the mirror was in the sewers.
Yeah, chat pointing out, it does appear as though everyone's just avoiding Ice Palace right now. You know, that's always a dangerous game. Ice Palace has a ton of hints that you can get into it, and right now all the logic seems to be pulling them in that direction. Now, Matt and Signums don't have the Titan's Mitt yet. Matt absolutely has the ability to get the Titan's Mitts, although it is in kind of a out-of-the-way spot. Might be going to it now.
He probably can't think of anything else he needs to do to get it. Yes, Lumberjack Ledge was checked. It's a shield to the best of my knowledge.
I think it was a shield or a heart piece. I mean, we saw the corner tip. Matt going to be happy with his discovery here shortly. Chloe now clearing out Palace of Darkness after doing Eastern. is going to be disappointed. Not a whole lot to find here. Alright, so Hitzion still going to be doing that, turning in the purple chest. I believe that was just a piece of heart from Gary's lunchbox. Chloe is going to be cleaning out the rest of Palace of Darkness. Looks like Signums is actually heading over to Pod as well. Matt is checking out what is available over here in the Misery Mire area. Still putting off going there. Just got the Titan's Mitts, though, so might be incentivized maybe if he gambles Ice Palace.
Gonna maybe grab a half magic out of Checkerboard Cave. I mean, I would grab it. It's a useful item.
Oh, absolutely. It's an amazing item, especially if you're getting ready to go into Ice Palace. And Michael K. mentioning in chat, Matt will probably go to Desert before Ice Palace, and that's a logical decision that you can't necessarily fault anyone for, because you can clear out Desert, plus get that knowledge of that cane, so that'll be good knowledge for him to.
Yep, because well, actually, no, he doesn't have the items he needs. Because I was gonna say, if you had with the knowledge these runners have, if they had hookshot or boots, they might dip Misery Mire to try to find the cane if they didn't know it was here.
Well, except no hookshot, no boots, so can't. Yeah.
I said if they had the items.
True. While we're kind of in a bit of a lull right now between these runners, I did want to give a shout out to our trackers, Michael K. and Phase 1S Keith. Thank you guys for doing all the tracking for us. Really helps us keep track of things because it's not easy to talk about 4 things at once, and it's not easy to track in this case as well. So big shout out to our trackers for doing all that work.
Yep. And we've also got, make sure to follow our runners on their Twitch pages. They're putting on a great show for us today, and they deserve your follows.
Hitzion looks like stepping over here into Swamp Palace, even though it's a pendant. I believe Hitzion did also get the hint that silver arrows were over here. So walking by probably said, all right, let's take a dip in here. Because if something else ends up being here, it will be doubly effective. Now, don't believe anything else is here, unfortunately. And I do see some chatter in chat right now about, that book that is sitting up there on the floating island. Guys, we do have to remember that in version 30, there is a known bug that's going on right now where progression can't be on the tablets. So since we already have access to Desert and nothing can be on the tablets because of the weird sword logic that's going in, don't look at book like it could possibly have progression when you're trying to work things out. And Chloe might be, maybe, making the play.
What? Chloe, what?
But you know what? Find some extra bombs.
Okay. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand why I did that.
Well, you only had 4 bombs, and when you purchase your capacity upgrades, it will refill your bombs to the top. So, I mean, that was not only a capacity upgrade, but a bomb refill as well. So that's actually a heads-up play there, Rick.
I did not know that. That is interesting. And we have a paradoxical hint here in Ice Palace. The magic powder is above the pose, but we had to get the magic powder from above the pose to get that hint anyway. So
yes, we did. Wait, and we also got it. So that's 2 hints about that particular item, because we also got one that was a unique item is above the pose. Game. Now those red berries kind of trolling Chloe a little bit. Meanwhile, Signums is in Eastern. Hitzion joining Chloe very shortly in Ice Palace. Matt looks like is heading up to Skull Woods.
Chloe getting a little bit dumpstered by the Stalfoses.
Yeah, that can be a problem if you don't get the setup just right to get the double kill. They can troll you a little bit.
Yeah, the Stalfoses are a little bit weird in this game. Normally, you have to knock them down by hitting them with something and then planting a bomb on their corpses. But the Stalfoses are, at least in that room, are linked in a really weird way. If one of them is knocked down, then the vulnerability flag will be applied to both of them. So all you need to do is knock one down, and then both of them will die to the same bomb.
And we did see the tile hint. There is a unique item in the Fire-Locked Misery Mire. Now that is super, super interesting because there's always at least one hint about boots somewhere. I'm wondering if that's going to be where our boots are located. Which again would be horrible given that we know exactly that we need the boots in order to get the cane, and we need to beat that anyway. So yeah. All right, Signum's finding the mushroom. Should be turning that in. Hitsuyan hasn't found the mushroom yet. Now that might play into it a little bit later, because remember, that mushroom leads to Bombos. That Bombos locks Misery Mire. So while it looks like Hitsuyan is right on Chloe's tail, no pun intended for Fox Link. Ha. Will be a little bit out of the way.
Actually, Duke Firebird making a good point. The hook shot could be logically required for Ice Palace, depending on layout. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and if you want me to be perfectly honest, I have been playing this game for getting close to 2 years now for myself. I still don't know Ice Palace key logic. It's so convoluted.
Yeah, key logic is like the next best thing to black magic.
Signum's about to pick up their Titan's Mitts. Will be the fourth and final person to get those Titan's Mitts. If there wasn't a small key found in the first chest here in IP, then the rest of the dungeon is locked by hookshot. I do believe there was a key found in the first one, so I think we're safe. All right, I have not been counting items. Do we know what we're looking like here in terms of what is possible to still be?
Oh, well, there's the big key. Hi, big key.
Hitsugon making a very similar play that he did earlier, just going straight to the boss, ignoring some of these other item locations. There's the bow.
The D. Well, that's one massive weight off everybody's mind. But now the big question is, where in the world are those boots hiding?
At this point, I can almost promise you the boots are, well, the boots or the hookshot are going to be on Armos Knights.
That or Palace of Darkness somewhere. Helmsor King, maybe. Actually, Helmsor King's about the only place they can be.
Yeah, because we've checked everything else, and we do know that we got the hint earlier that a unique item is in Eastern Palace, and we've cleared everything out of Eastern Palace except for Armos Knights. So I'm leaning more towards Armos at this point. Either way, both Hitsuyan and Chloe both have now completed Ice Palace. Hitsuyan, again, skipped some of the treasure chests in there. Often, I mean, we saw Hitsuyan make a similar play when he skipped the basement of Tower of Hera, which did have the Ice Rod. Now, nothing has really come back to bite Hitsuyan yet in those gambles that he's been making, and he's in a fairly good spot. The main difference right now, though, is that he doesn't have that mushroom, which leads to Bombos, which is a required access for Misery Mire. So that might put him behind a little bit.
Yeah, because he's going to need to find that before he can get into Mire. Huh.
Here's what I think. I think Hitsuyan is going to be able to do this. He does now also have the 5 and the 6 crystals. So I'm hoping that after he clears out these 2 dungeons, if he does not find Bombos Medallion where he thinks it would be in any of these, then he will go and turn in that particular location, get the big bomb, and then he can check the pyramid, which has the mushroom right there as well. Oh, Matt the Ogre checking Spike Cave now over here. Was Matt checking Death Mountain and we just completely ignored him?
Possibly. I would know because we were ignoring him.
Alright, so Hitsuyan is about to do Mr. Helmsor, well equipped for it, of course. And Helmosaur is down for Hitsuyan. Chloe right behind him.
And Helmosaur gives up the map. Eastern to play, it looks like.
Yep. And Eastern, I gotta think. It has to be either the boots or the hook shot. And here goes Matt the Ogre over into Swamp Palace as well. Everyone has... 3 of our featured runners have taken this dip into Swamp Palace at various points in time for those silver arrows. The only one who hasn't is Chloe, who never got that hint. Matt for Chloe, and setting up the mirror will immediately be doing Eastern, just like Hitsuyan is doing. You know, for as much stuff as we got early on, these runners are running very similar routes after the initial kind of reaction early on.
Yeah, like I was like the chat and I were saying early in the seed, a seed that gives you a lot of items early on tends to dry out pretty quick.
All right, so what unique item is going to be on Armos Knights? It's going to be answered here in less than a minute because silver arrows, this boss is a...
It's the hook shot.
That is horrible.
It's pretty bad. Because this puts... Not only does it put Meyer into logic for a forced double dip, you could have to travel to the backside of the swamp to get what we need.
Yep. Remember, the Cane of Samaria is on the Desert Torch. And we do know from a hint that there is a unique item in Misery Mire. Now, is that unique item the boots? We don't know.
Boots could also be hanging out up in Hookshot Cave. We just don't know.
Either way, it's kind of rude. I think it makes sense for Hitsuyan to make this play up in this direction simply because he does not have bombos. So he's not looking like he knows he's still looking for bombos to get into Misery Mire anyway. And Chloe with a nice quick kill there on Armos without the silvers. All right, so nothing per se in Super Bunny Cave for Hitsuyan. We still have Hookshot Cave though. And Chloe immediately going over and says, "Yep, it's time." Fire Sword?
I mean, not terrible. So looks like it's the terrible dream. Hookshot to double dip Meyer to find the boots to get the cane.
It does appear to be the case, doesn't it? At least for now. I mean, we still have the possibility that it's going to be in that Pyramid Fairy as well.
That is possible, you're right.
And Lucas Luminaro, yes, we believe Hitsuyan has either forgotten or actively is avoiding Pyramid Ledge. That is the mushroom which leads to Bombos at this point in time. Can Boots be in Castle Tower? No, Stargazer. What ends up happening, because this is standard mode, it is not one of the various either key sanity or retro mode. The two treasure chests in Castle Tower have to be the Castle Tower keys. So, meh. Key sanity in retro mode, guys. Don't forget retro mode. I know it's just kind of the long lost stepchild of the rando community, but it still has a special place in my heart. All right, so Hitsuyan does appear to be making the Pyramid Fairy and Mushroom check. Meanwhile, Chloe is going to be showing us what this unique item is.
Let's see it. It's the boots!
Yeah,
oh.
I think you mirror out right now. You mirror right now.
So this seed gave us everything we hoped for. And the big key. So now Chloe's gonna get out.
Then he says, "Wait a minute, why am I leaving? I can just do this."
Unfortunately, the ped dream is absolutely dead at this point. There's nothing on the ped that we could possibly need.
No, in fact, at 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 13 seconds, I do believe Chloe Prower is in go mode now, officially. Hitsuyan then finds his Bombos medallion and will be following Chloe very shortly. I mean, there weren't a whole lot of places left to check for Hitsuyan. So kudos to him for recognizing, oh, this is it, isn't it? Now, one thing to note, I mean, Hitsuyan is probably about 5 minutes behind, but he does have the silver arrows, which can make up quite a bit of time in various aspects. Probably not 5 minutes worth, but he's not quite as far behind from Chloe as it appears at first blush.
Yeah, the silver arrows are not going to save 5 minutes just on Vitreous. They'll save a significant... Actually, I don't know. They'll save...
Yeah, they'll save some time going through Ganon's tower, absolutely. But it's going to come down... Execution is going to be the big thing at this point in time. I would still give the edge to Chloe at this point in time over Hitsuyan. But man, it's going to be very, very close at this point in time. We still, for the record, do not have a completion for any other runner. And there are some significant names who are taking part in this daily. So it still could be anyone's race at this point in time.
Exactly. I'm done dying.
I got you, boo. It's okay.
What I was going to say is I'm not sure at Tempered Sword if the difference between Silverless and Silvers is as significant as it is with Master Sword, because Master Sword Silverless is just a nightmare of a fight.
Oh, and no, the difference is minuscule. If you ask, I think most runners, it's like, okay, what would you rather have? Tempered Sword Silverless or Master Sword Silvers? Most of them will tell you Tempered Sword Silverless, because there is that big of a difference between Master Sword and Tempered Sword and how you approach the Ganon fight. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and any other folks who do not identify as such, that is 7 crystals. And there's a little game we like to play here. We're not gonna use a tracker or anything like that, but there are 22 treasure chests in Ganon's Tower. I'm sorry, that could possibly contain the Ganon Tower Big Key. 1 through 22. Get your guesses in chat. Mr. Claymore, sir, would you like to guess?
Number 8, all day, every day. In normal routing, that puts it in the double fireball room. You?
I have been guessing the same number the entire time since the start of the fall tournament, and I have yet to guess right, so I'm sticking with lucky number 9.
I'm sure Signals would appreciate the 9.
There's Hitsuyan, who is now mirroring out, going out to get his cane as well. Signum's now going through Ice Palace. Matt the Ogre, now with the bow, is on his way to the back, doing the Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace loop here.
Chloe making a brief check in Super Bunny Cave before heading up to Ganon's Tower, and kind of rewarded for it with a red potion. That's could be an interesting thing that you might need.
All right, and hope you guys got your guesses in, because with Chloe entering, we are done guessing.
Probably gonna hit the first 2 chests here, then dip over to the other side. No. Doing non-standard routing, right side first. So we're gonna get chests 3 through 3, 4, 5, and 6 here in this room here. Coming up. Chest 3, big 20. Chest number 4, heart container. 5 is $300. 6 is a piece of heart. Seven, technically a piece of heart. Next 4 chests, 8 through 11, I believe. 11 has the big key. So now it's just going to be a quick dive up Ganon's tower for Chloe. As Hitzion downs Misery Mire to earn Quake Medallion. Matt making his way through Eastern Palace while Signums dives into the latter half Ice Palace. Hitzion finally has everything he needs to make his way up to Ganon's tower. So we're going to hit up there right quick. Signum's checking the Ice Palace big chest while he's here. Chloe making his way through Gauntlet, making good time. As Signums opts to use Bombos to open up Colsteer's shell.
A little bit more magic efficient when you can do Bombos, but can not be as time efficient.
Yeah, because you have to wait for the Bombos animation to finish out, and that can take a significant amount of time.
Oh, and it looks like Hitzion is actually setting up Tile Room.
Ooh. I guess he's deciding to lean into the seed being trolly, but unfortunately it's not going to pay off. And we do have our first place finisher, Chisame, finishing with an official SRO time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, 58 seconds.
GG Chisame. Chisame. However it's pronounced, very well done. This seed was not necessarily easy to get through, and there are some very high-level runners in here too. Well done. And there is our second place finisher, Thelaine, in second place at 1:30.43.
Chris finishing in third. Final podium placement with an official time of 1:31:06.
Yeah, very good. We kind of expected to start seeing there were some last checks for a lot of runners, especially from what we've seen on screen. So kind of expected that, but the key really was that bow in Ice Palace. What is Matt missing? Looks like he's missing boots. So he's banking on boots being here prior to dipping Misery Mire, and he just doesn't know.
I mean, I don't blame him, but unfortunately it's not going to pay off.
Oh, and Hitsuyan went full right side. That is...
Whoa.
That is literally the worst thing you can do with this particular placement.
That's going to bite him on the butt.
Meanwhile, Chloe is getting set up with Agatu.
That could have been a double, but it looks like it hit too close together. That was a clean double.
They're getting a little bit out of sync now.
But no matter. Chloe is down dagged in 2, and now it's time for the pig.
Mr. Blue Bacon himself, we shall see what kind of facts he has for us today.
I've got a fact for him. He's about to die.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how the story always ends, but I'm really more concerned about cheese facts.
What is this, Elder Scrolls?
Grumble, 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 grumble. Seriously, you were supposed to bring food. Alright, getting through these phases relatively quick. Again, Chloe does not have the silver, so final phase is going to take a little bit more time, but well set up for.
Yep.
Alright, there's one hit. Remember, to do Silverless Ganon, what you have to do is effectively do a spin and hit him with the spin right before he teleports away so that it doesn't actually start his blue animation.
Yeah, it is not the easiest, thing to do.
No, but worth learning eventually, especially if you're getting into this particular speed run, because you're not guaranteed silvers. I mean, they will be in logic somewhere, but as you can see, our first runner on stream is absolutely doing silverless, even though we got the hint for silvers that was located in the left side of Swamp. That was the only thing that was in Swamp, so you could avoid Swamp entirely if you did not want to dip silvers. Yeah, and Chloe never took the hint, so Chloe never knew. Chloe's struggling here a little bit with this. Gets another 2 solid hits. Usually you can get about 2 hits per cycle. with the torches if you manage the torch glitch. 3 if you're very, very tight with it.
Yep. But it really just becomes a balancing act with how much magic you have left. And Chloe takes down Ganon.
Nope, now must cross the most dangerous 1x3 bridge in the entire game.
People have fallen here. It has happened before, and it's tragic. But Chloe manages it and finishes in 8th place overall with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 13 seconds.
And Chloe's claiming tie because Niterific did finish in 7th at 1:36.11, so 2 seconds ahead of Chloe. Chloe's claiming the tie.
That, by SRL rules, that does make it a regulation tie.
And there is Chloe right now. GG. Maybe? Meanwhile, Hitsuyan is on his Agatu fight.
Okay, now we're joined by Chloe.
How you doing? GG's.
So, this appeared to be a conscious decision. You didn't check, and not that this wasn't a huge deal, but you didn't check the hint at the top of Death Mountain. That was the hint for the silvers, and it was in Left Side Swamp, and you were literally the only one on stream that didn't go get those.
I'm so glad I didn't check it then. I knew I had access to Hera, so I just was like, whatever, I'm going to Hera first. I've got to go to Right Side Death Mountain. I have like 10 checks to do up here. I don't care about the hint all that much. And I'm so glad I didn't get it, because apparently that was a waste of time.
Well, I mean, Hitsuyan is... You and Hitsuyan were just kind of back and forth for most of the race. Going back and forth. It really came down... You know, you had an absolutely front-loaded scene through it all. And then it all came down to a bottlenecking, effectively, at Ice Palace for the bow, and who went there first. And you and Hit were right there together through most of that. Except Hitsuyan hadn't hadn't even gotten the mushrooms, so kind of had to run around a little bit later for that.
Yeah, that mushroom was very, like, it was on Pyramid, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go this way anyways, so I'm not gonna save it to fake powder. And it ended up being the one required medallion I needed, so I'm like, well, that's great. And then another thing was, like, we got powder and from the pose hints, and that ended up being, what was it? The Titan's mitts? So
yep, lift 2.
It was like, alright. Like, the hints didn't feel like they were paying off, but they were really paying off. And like every unique item hit I got, I'm like, this has got to be the boots. It's like, it's not the boots. Where's the boots?
Yeah, those boots, that end sequence, it's a little bit rude to make you double dip Misery Mire there, where boots were there, and then you had to back out to desert. Luckily it was desert, it was right there.
Yeah, I'm glad I found the cane before I went into Misery Mire, because I knew Misery Mire was my only lead at the time, otherwise I was dipping pendant dungeons.
Yeah, the pendant dungeons were all but worthless. Swamp, Turtle Rock, didn't even have to touch Skullwoods. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan 1337 does finish with an official SRL time of 1:39.50, finishes in 12th place. They're starting to come in fast, guys. Let's see if we can get Hitsuyan in here to join.
Looks like we're not getting Hitsuyan.
I feel like the biggest time save for me would have been to go to the Ice Palace before Eastern and Pod, but...
Well, and I don't necessarily blame you for making it, because I remember we did end up getting the hint that said there was a unique item in Eastern Palace, and I'm sure everyone was thinking, come on, Boots, please. and it ended up the unique item was on Armos. And everyone's just kind of screaming a little bit at themselves.
There was a non-negligible amount of time that I figured Hookshot might just be in Ganon's Tower, or in somewhere obscure that I would have been in Ganon's Tower without it. I'm glad it gave it to us.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking there. The end was kind of interesting to watch and see, you know, what weird, wacky combination of items were we going to get. Chat was, of course, rooting for Bo all the time on the pedestal because it was looking like it might be there as you're going through Ice Palace, and nothing. There's just nothing.
Yeah. Like, Pod and Eastern were both dead unless you could kill the bosses. Actually, Pod was completely dead outright. It only had, what, armor?
Yeah, I think there was an armor upgrade in the dark rooms.
And, like, I figured all the pendant dungeons had to be dead, which was weird because they gave Ice Rod at such an early point.
Yeah, and they gave you Fire Rod, and it was the one, like, this is the one setup that you don't ever need Fire Rod for anything.
I know, it was weird. I'm like figuring, it's like, I should really do Skull Woods, but Thieves Town is free right now, so I'm gonna go do that first. And I got that Poe hint.
There were actually two Poe hints, because they were both, I think there was also one in Ice Palace.
Right, I believe that one specifically mentioned the magic powder. The one I got in Hera said it was just a unique item.
What'd you think of the early game with so many Sphere 1 locations just dumping so much stuff on you?
I mean, it gave us the mirror super early, which, like, lends a ton to routing, and then, let's see, we got a bottle right in Escape, so that made that check easy. Then we got a shovel, so, okay, no reason to go out of the way for the shovel dig. And then it just kind of forced you to Zora, and Zora was progression. It gave us enough money for Zora, too, so it wasn't like it was a farm.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting setup, because it appeared as though, if you think about it, the shovel led to 300 rupees, which pushed you to Zora. The mushroom was Bombos, which you needed, and then the powder was your Titansmith. So all three fetch quests had some degree of value.
Right. But it wasn't like it was a terrible to route seed. There was a lot of stuff that was just on the way. Like, there wasn't a point where I'm like, I've got to go all the way out of this way for this check. The only time I felt that was for Hera, and even that paid off. Sort of. I mean, any other game it would have paid off.
Was there ever a time that you felt maybe more behind than you were, or what were your feeling as you were going through the raid?
I mean, I felt like my Eastern and Pod play was a waste of time, but I didn't see any dot duns until I was at the end of the tower. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Everyone else routed this very similar. I mean, like I said, there was very few things that I think I could have done differently that weren't execution-wise. If I had done Ice Palace before Pod and Eastern, it would have probably saved maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But getting a hint that says there's a unique item in Eastern Palace, I figured it was the boots, and I had missed out on like 40 minutes of boots.
Yeah, we up here in the booth thought that boots might be in there too, so you're not alone.
I take it none of the restreamers went to Eastern first. It was kind of rough to get there.
No, in fact, it was much later that we had even a check in Sahasrara's closet. I think most people even already had Dark World access. We were like, well, I guess we're going here now.
Yeah, the flute and the hammer and the mirror just drags you right up Death Mountain.
So it's one of those situations that despite having so many different items early, that everyone just seemed to run the very similar route simply because of that Death Mountain play, right?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a ton to deviate away from the route. I mean, you could have dipped the pendant dungeons, but that still wouldn't have dragged you away from the route with such major items like the bow and the hookshot being on bosses. It was hard to incentivize something like Swamp Palace without the hookshot. You couldn't get into Mire without the hookshot because the boots were in it.
Yeah, and then the hookshot ended up being behind the bow, which was in Ice Rod, yeah.
And then Turtle Rock was locked off behind Mire, but by that point you're done with the game. Because I can see on the restream that it's Quake, even though I never actually checked Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's just, man, it was one of those races that you didn't quite know what we were going to get, but, you know, the four of you were in 4 different places checking new items at various points in time, so, you know, the trackers did an amazing job keeping up with all of you.
It was a nice seed, I'll be honest. It was a very kind seed. Like, it wasn't the fastest seed in the world, but it was a nice seed.
I mean, I say any seed that gives you early lamp is a nice seed, but that's just me.
Yeah, because it sucked gloves on old man, so it had to give us a lamp. I think ironically the hints probably made the seed slower for some people.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of hints in the a lot of comments in the IRC that are basically complaining about the hints.
I think it dragged people to places that were not optimal because there were so many unique item hints.
Yep.
Yeah, unique item in Eastern Palace that you can't get to. Unique item in... yeah, there were a ton. And then the silvers being in Swamp Palace. I honestly wonder how many people went to Swamp early simply because of those silvers, and they didn't help you a ton because Bo was so late.
Where were the silvers? Were they before Hookshot?
Yeah, they were left side Swamp.
It's pretty deep still. But at least you could get them if you dive there before you finished off Eastern Palace.
And Chad is pointing out that the powder hint was pretty good. The unique item behind the pose, because that led you directly to your Titans.
I actually remember going the screen transition down and I'm like, wait, I can actually check this. I almost forgot completely about it.
Yeah, because most people try to route, you know, the graveyard ledge in with, you know, either, you know, Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb or even Bumper Cave. So it was kind of interesting that was kind of the key to progression there. Meanwhile, we do see Matt is now working on his Aga 2 fight. Meanwhile, Signum's just finished up 7th dungeon.
I can't complain about hints. They bailed me out more than they've screwed me out.
Fair. Absolutely fair. Alright, Matt completes Aga 2 and is on his way over to Ganon. While we focus on that fight, Chloe, did you have anything else to add before we try to focus on Matt at this point?
No, I'm good. Thanks, guys, for letting me be a part of this. And, good luck to the rest of the runners.
Thank you for agreeing to be restreamed. I know it's a big thing.
Again, that was Chloe Prower. If you liked what you saw from him, go ahead and give him a follow here on Twitch. Meanwhile, Matt the Ogre is in the process of fighting the big pig himself, equipped with Butter Sword, tons of health. Did you find the arrows in Swamp Palace? Yes. Yes, we did. Very clean fight there from Matt the Ogre, and explosions!
Matt the Ogre finishing in 22nd place with an official SRL time of 1:52.13. And we'll see if we can pull Matt in here for an interview. Just stand by.
Meanwhile, Signum's also going right side to start with. Alright, so Signums did not do full right side like some of our other runners did, so we'll be getting through this a little bit faster. Fear Agent, where was Half Magic? It was in Checkerboard Cave, Fear Agent. Signum's now climbing. We'll see if... don't know how proficient Signums is on the gauntlet, but has the possibility to still get sub 2 hours here, which is still a respectable time. Right, still working our way through. As we're working through, you know, look at these collection slates. 139, 149. You know, there's not much difference between those two, and I think doing the full right side that Hitsuyan would have contributed to that mostly. Also the silvers. So when you think about it, these two runners were very, very close to one another. I'm anxious to see what Matt's collection rate is. Waiting on Matt to come and join us.
For sure. It just goes to show that execution can really close the time gap. These two runners are only 3 minutes apart, and that's done. It's not as much as it sounds like when you consider that this is a 100-minute run.
Oh, that's worth a shout out. Angel HZ finished in 23rd place with a time of 1:56:39, but that is a PR personal record by more than 3 minutes. A big shout out to ANGLHZ. Always nice to see improvements. This is not a seed to, you know, with all the back and forth that you did, getting a PR on this one is absolutely great. Great work there. Getting through. Got to be careful in this part of Ganon's Tower. If anyone is not aware, have to wait for that door to close before you climb in. Because if you do end up climbing that at the exact time the door is closing, it can accidentally despawn the rest of Ganon's Tower and kind of mess you up.
Just a little. It kind of makes it hard to kind of complete the kind of game.
I mean, you would think despawning the boss would mean, hey, I beat him, right? That's not how it works.
Yeah, unfortunately, as broken as this game is, it's not quite that broken. As much as we'd love it to be otherwise.
Meanwhile, Signum's getting close here. Alright, Geometry Mage, round 4. Couple of doubles in a row. Signum's having a very clean Aga fight so far.
Yeah, certainly nothing to complain about here.
Alright, so here's the big pig.
With Buttersword and Silvers, this is not going to be a problem.
No, should not be. Almost full health as well. So many teleports. Just stop. I want to stab you again. Question in chat. Where was the fourth sword? Hookshot Cave. All right, Signum setting up well again. And that is a GG from Signums, crosses the bridge and does complete in 24th place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 9 seconds. GG, Signums. We'll see if we can't get... Signums is out as well.
Yep, I completely sympathize with coughing up his lungs.
With that, that's all the runners here. Let's see if we can get Matt to join one more time. I do want to give one last shout out, of course, to our trackers, both Michael K and Phase 1S Keith. You guys doing all the work behind the scenes. Helps our job out so much here. Helps the community out. Keep track of everything. Thank you so much. One last time, give a follow to all of the runners: Chloe Prower, Hitzian1337, Signums, and Matt the Ogre. Let's see if we can get Matt in here, maybe. And then we saw Matt's collection right there, 156. So again, just a little bit more. You can see increase. Just the slightly more efficient routing from Chloe, at least on the restream.
Well, this has been an absolutely fantastic seed. It was really great to be up here in the booth with you, Vitasia.
You as well, Claymore. It's always a pleasure to work with you, and great to get back into these community races. Check us out. There's going to be another race tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Speed Gaming 2. I believe that's going. I mean, that's not going to be a standard. It's going to be
an open mode. Open mode. But going on right now over on Speed Gaming, we have Super Mario World. I'm not sure if that's going to be a randomizer or just a race. But we've got at 6:30, also on Speed Gaming, we have Super Metroid plus a Link to the Past randomizer. If you like what you see here and you thought, hey, why don't we toss Super Metroid into the mix? Well, be at Speed Gaming 6:30 and you'll see just that. And then we have at 9 p.m. as Vitasia was saying on Speed Gaming 4, we have the second daily race for today, an open mode race. At the same time on Speed Gaming 5, we have another Super Metroid combo randomizer. So whatever you want to do, whatever you want to see, we've probably got it for you.
A little bit of everything going on here at Speed Gaming. Just check out the schedule. We'll go ahead. The schedule is linked there in chat, but I think that's going to do it for us here for the rest of the days.
At least till 9 p.m.
At least till then. All right. Signing off. My name's Vitasia.
I've been Claymore, and behind the scenes we've had Phase 9 Alex and Michael K doing tracking. It was great to be here with y'all. We will see you guys next seed.